back. Here we are,
Come
loud
on.
and proud after a
College
big
football. Greg, we're at week 8. Unbelievable, man. Listen. Every week that goes by, it just gets better and better and better. Listen, we'll talk about we shit the bed, but we're going to talk about that later. But listen, bro. Greg, how are you, man? How's it going?
I'm great. Just got one game done today, and got one in the belt. Got one tomorrow with the boys, and another one on Friday Night Lights, baby.
That Texas football, baby.
That's how we do it.
That's the way it goes down there.
To talk about. I know that. I mean, for last week, a lot of highs and lows, some wins, some losses. You know, some disappointing ones and some exciting ones. So, hey, for all those fans out there watching us, check us out on IG. That's CFB _TT, and then check out our YouTube at College Football Trash Talk with James and Greg. Put the @ before or subscribe down below. So check it out before and, all our activity and what we're talking about week to week and how we are fired up as fans like you. And we have our teams and we want to mention you. So be sure to reach out, communicate, text, DM, all of the above. We're going to talk about your schools. We want to drop it in the house and talk some college football trash talk right there.
Yeah, and like I was saying before, Greg and I have always mentioned, listen, our concentration, we kind of top 25, but we also, whatever's happening in the news of college football, we're going to bring that up. Like, for instance, a couple weeks ago, we were talking about Army, Navy, undefeated. This is the first time in a long time, so whatever's kind of happening in college football that we think we should bring up, we're going to bring it up for sure. And like Greg said, listen, if you got a shout out to a team that we haven't mentioned, hey, mention it. Give your handle. We're going to give you a shout out.
Yeah.
And we'll go from there. But Greg, my goodness, I can only tell you that I was. It took me 24 hours.
We know. We gave you space. More. We know you needed some time. But listen, about that, we have so much to talk about. But why don't we start from the bottom and work our way up?
Okay. So, listen, as we spoke about, the reason why we love college football is for Saturdays like that. We're gripped to the television where the last second field goal, overtime, whatever. Listen. All right. So, Greg, we'll talk about our scores, and I beat you again this week. It's just, I don't know, man. It's just so easy.
Listen, it's too early for me to start going down the hole. All right? So let's just have a great show, talk about the love of the game and some great wins and losses and all those that are, from the Heisman race, the coaches that are up for Coach of the Year, making changes for the greater good of the program. With Army and Navy, I am so for our men and women who serve our country.
Army vet right here, brother.
Your program, and you as a former militant guy that you are, that's serving our country. We appreciate you, man. Let's love. Every day is a good day with our country.
So listen, I want to get into it. There's a couple of games I want to jump off right away because this is something interesting I want to talk about with you. Utah, Arizona State. You were almost ready to pull the trigger and go with Arizona State. You didn't. You went with Utah. I think I kind of talked you into it.
It's not true. Are you lying to these people? Don't be like you got it written down.
Right here.
I'm going through my notes because I need to double check.
Bro, look.
Bro.
Right here.
Oh, that's in Arizona. I went the Wildcats. Did we put that on our schedule as one of our bets? Because
Utah, Arizona State, we both chose Utah, and you were on the fence about Arizona State.
Yeah.
And the reason I think I talked you into it is because Cam Rising. But I want to get in this to you. I'm going to ask you a question. News came out that Cam Rising may get another year of eligibility. They may pull him.
Yeah.
And then he's going to sit. I think he's going to be his 10th year? He's going to be like 60.
I think it's 8th year. Well, here's the thing.
Go ahead.
ASU, that win was amazing. The running back, number 4, the program, the locker room, the energy is off the charts. Zach Wilson's younger brother, who is now stepping in for Cam Rising because his injury has now been named the starting quarterback for Utah Utes.
And we're going to talk about this guy. Now, this guy impressed me before is Cameron Scattaboo. I mean, he's a beast. He is a beast. So my thing is this. Here, let me give you this. Cam Rising, 16 of 37, 209 yards, 3 interceptions.
Yeah.
Bro, they're going to pull the plug on him, and they're going to let him rest because his knee's not – I mean, he's mangled, bro. I think this may be it, unfortunately. Yeah. If this is, he's got a great career. They're going to redshirt, and what I'm saying is he's going to come back next year. He's going to do well. But he's been injury-plagued his whole career.
Yeah.
It's but –
man, he could be a Cinderella story and do great things in the future. But, I mean, I'm not seeing the light at the end of the tunnel here. I pray for him. I wish him well. That's why these young kids, men, are at college to get that education. So hopefully he finds himself a great opportunity to take a next chapter in his life.
I think he's going to get a bachelor's, then he's got time to go double master's. He can get a master's and then another master's. And,
right. Well, moving on. What else we got?
Okay.
I mean, let's talk.
We're going to move. This is going to be a quick one. We both chose Clemson. Clemson murdered him. It was 49-14. Like I said, at the beginning of the year when Clemson got smashed, I still have been on Clemson's bandwagon.
Yes, you did.
They are going to win the ACC.
You did say that. And
yes.
You needed another Texas quarterback, Cade, to get that Klubnik, just to get it done. I mean, that kid is just lighting up the field. I mean, he threw for over 300 yards with 3 TDs. I mean, he was almost 31 for 41. I mean, that's amazing stats.
Yep.
I'm not saying that he had a great defensive team that was like Georgia, in which we saw in the beginning of the year, playing him. But still, Wake Forest has been known to come in. Those Demon Deacons can come in there and shock you.
Absolutely. And I think that the game was at, if I'm not mistaken, the game was at Wake Forest. So listen, anytime you're on the road now,
yeah.
There could be things, upset here or there. We'll get into that as well. But listen, we're going to move on. Missouri played UMass, and it was 45-3. It was, UMass. Listen, is a different program on the basketball court, but on the football field, it's a different ball game, bro.
Yeah. They need to pick a new lane. I'm sorry. I mean, no offense to everybody in UMass, but football is not where their money's going. It's basketball.
Right.
Maybe one day it'll turn. They got to find the right guy to come in there and uplift that.
Connecticut, UMass. I mean, these are basketball.
We're not jockeying any schools. I mean, any Division 1A football program. Much love to you. I mean, but it's kind of like this is, at a higher level when we're in the, the top 5, in just SEC, Big 10, Big 12, Pac-12, whatever. I mean, it doesn't matter. Let's just be real and know where you stand.
And I think that going in playing these programs, it's a lot of these programs, they don't make a lot of money. There's not a lot of money for football because it's basketball. But, hey, they come in and play a big school like that, and they, ultimately get paid. Unfortunately, they played at UMass. Let's move forward, bro. Now, this is a game that I watched. And you and I both, I was on the verge of going South Carolina, Alabama. Now, they went in to Alabama, and let me tell you something. If it wasn't for a late fourth quarter fumble from South Carolina, I honestly think that South Carolina had the ball. They were ahead, and they were moving the ball. And if it wasn't for the fumble, and basically the quarterback, it was one of those kind of option. He kind of held it in too long. The ball fell on the ground, and then Alabama scored. and then they won the game. But man, let me tell you something. Alabama,
Well,
if they would have lost 2 in a row, come on.
hey, that would have been it would have derailed Bama's potential for even the bubble. They would not have been in the top 12. That's because they're Bama. They probably would have gone in with a 2-loss record. Okay, but here's the thing: I got to watch the second half of that game because I was so dialed in on some other shows. But South Carolina, they stepped up. And I had mentioned their defense was pretty stellar. I was worried about Sellers, who I thought was injured, and he showed up. And you know what? For that kind of product, what he is, he's a prodigy. He's huge. He can throw the ball, but not as good as our Tennessee quarterback at Quinn Ewers. Even he's not as good as Milroy. Jalen Milroy is a great quarterback. He's not Howard. But for his stature, he has athletic ability. He's just got to be groomed. But South Carolina, they kicked that onside field goal. The onside kick. They got it back. They recovered it. And that kicker, I was shocked. I saw that thing spinning around.
I think that was the punter. It was the punter that did that.
Wow. They scored a touchdown, then kicked it up, then it spun. And how do you not?
I know.
Land on the ball?
Yeah.
Number 45. Bro, land on the ball. That's what you're taught. Cuddle it, surrender it. It's your ball. Keep it. I cannot believe nobody could catch up. They're grown-ass men.
Yeah.
They've been playing football their whole life, and he missed an onside.
Well, it's easier said than done when you got 300-pound guys like trying to jump all over you, and But let me tell you, do you, like right now, looking at the college football playoff, and what is your confidence level for Alabama to actually be in the playoff? What is your confidence level right now?
My confidence level for Bama, unfortunately, is I'm not selling, but I'm on teeter-totter, because the thing is, they're in some close games recently, which Vanderbilt, South Carolina, they got the rest of the SEC.
2 points. They won by 2 points.
This is the real deal. They got Tennessee. Then they got Missouri at LSU. Then, Mercer. Oklahoma, no disrespect, but Oklahoma can still play, but they have a lot of injuries.
Yeah,
we'll talk about that later. But then they got Auburn. Yeah. They've got 3 tough games.
Welcome to death row.
This is it. This is a make or break. They are fortunate to have gotten out unscathed out of that battle, because South Carolina, that was their game. Unfortunately, the gods were not in their favor.
I agree with you on that. I believe that there's certain weeks, as we know, going from start to finish in college football, depending on what conference you're in. You mentioned, of course, SEC, Big Ten.
Yeah.
There's going to be those games where you're going to be on the road. You might be a little flat, an injury. Like, we'll get into the Ohio State thing, but we lost 2 offensive linemen. And we'll get into that. But anyway, so injuries, a couple of calls here or there. Next thing you know, you're in a dogfight.
Yeah,
and
for
you got to pull one out. So
next man up.
Off to Alabama for pulling that out.
Yeah, they were fortunate. They were very fortunate. But then let's go into the following. What's upcoming is the Ole Miss and LSU game. And LSU at home, as we stated, LSU is a dog. Death Valley is a hard place to watch a game. And they went in there and competed with that high-powered offense with Jackson Dart. Lane Kiffin was ready, and they got the upper hand. Look, here's what I think in the SEC, because now it's separating. Texas is stepped out of the division, and we're number 1, and everybody out there. There's going to be multiple 2-loss teams in the SEC, because there's
no
Tennessee.
Question.
They're 5-1. LSU's 5-1. So the thing is, Bama
right now, would you say that Ole Miss, there's no way they could make it to the playoffs?
I will never say that. They're on the bubble. This is what that 12 playoff system is meant for.
But they've already lost 2 games.
They did, but they're not out.
Okay. So
I
on that
think that
game,
LSU's got the upper hand.
we both picked Old Miss for that game. So
I know, and because I love Ole Miss. I'm a big fan. I love the school. I've been to the games there. But it's LSU. Like I said, I was on the fence because LSU is tough, and they're coming together. They still got defense.
And the one thing that and for me, I've been a big advocate because I've been going like, okay, if the quarterback's been playing well and you're playing at home, you're pretty much going to win. That's what I've been saying. At the last minute, I think both of us kind of were like, wait a second, that quarterback's is up for the Heisman, and I think Ole Miss is going to turn it around. Boom. And they ended up losing again. I think that's a heartbreaker, 29-26. I really believe that there's some teams when you get to this point and they've lost 2. I don't know, man. And like you said, I think I'm on the fence with that one. We'll see what transpires going forward, but that was a tough loss. But again, what we were saying, you're going into LSU, going to the home territory. It's not an easy place to play, bro.
And no, it's not. And let me tell you, I'm so excited because this weekend I'm taking my son. We're going to Fayetteville to see LSU and Arkansas this weekend. And then we are catching the Oklahoma LSU in Baton Rouge, the final game of the year. So
nice.
I am trying to be dad. And I'm excited because I have not been to either or stadium. But I'm trying to catch some football, trying to bring everybody a little live experience. So be sure to subscribe, hit that button down below because we got some live action in the moment with our CFB _TT.
Well, real quick, I'll throw that in there. Subscribe because without you guys,
this is for you.
We like to build this, and the ultimate for Greg and I is, for our show, we would like to take this on the road. We'd love to go to some of the great venues of the LSU.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Texas,
wouldn't it?
Florida, Ohio State. We
would love get down in the Bama country.
Right.
See some of our fans on the East Coast
Click that button.
North. Hit it. Let's
go.
Listen,
We're building it up. Let's go to this one real quick, and we'll keep going. Let's do it quick. Stanford and Notre Dame. 49-7. I thought Stanford put up a little bit more fight. Listen, Notre Dame, the quarterback's starting to come around.
All those Irish fans are getting excited.
Yeah. So they're back at number 12. I believe that we'll look at the AP poll in a second. But, look, I think, again, that Notre Dame's going to be around. I don't know. We'll look at the schedule that they have. Traditionally, we've always had, a very tough schedule. We'll figure it out for them. I still think that they're around.
And here we go. I'm going to stop you because you know why? The rest of their schedule, you know what? They got 3 games that stand out to me. Maybe 4. They got Georgia Tech, okay?
Okay.
Who beat when they were in Ireland.
That's right.
We celebrated FSU.
Yeah.
Okay? We drank. Then you know who they played? The undefeated Navy.
Ooh.
Okay? So, if I'm looking at their schedule, they lost to Northern Illinois in the beginning of the season.
Yes.
Okay. So, let's bring it down, Notre Dame fans. No offense, because my cousin, his wife's a huge Notre Dame. My brother's a Notre Dame fan. I watched Tim Brown back in the day, so I know Notre Dame Heisman
Trophy
winner, right? They play Army, not only Navy but Army, 2 undefeated teams who are deserving to be in a bowl.
Oh yeah.
I believe they should be in a playoff system. And then
I think that they're already bowl eligible. I think they've won 6 games, so they're bowl eligible.
They're going to be bowl eligible, but
you
know what the problem is they're not going to be in the playoff system.
Right.
So pipe down all those Notre Dame Irish people. I love them, but I ain't going to do it.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Yeah. So Then we go to California and Pittsburgh. I said going into Pittsburgh, it's a tough place. It's just gritty. And you know what? California showed up again.
Again.
And it was a close one, 17-15.
Yeah.
And look, I think that Pittsburgh wins these games. They're just gritty but you know what? You got to tip your hat to California. Played another close game. They lost by 1 to Miami. Now they lose 2 to Pittsburgh. They're knocking on the door. Maybe they got something going on. Maybe next year
they're hitting the door. They are
Yep.
hitting it. They're right there. They're programmed. They're building. They're competing. We have another Coach of the Year nominee right there in Pittsburgh. I mean, what he's done with the program, the players are playing up to the level which they're expected to play. Good for them. But the Cal Bears, we didn't talk about that when we put that on the line because I mean, you know, I don't even think we didn't do that.
We both chose Pittsburgh.
Oh, did we? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And then here's one that I want to bring up. This if you looked at the score, Illinois was crushing Purdue, right?
Wow.
Crushing them. So then I'm like, whatever. Then I turn it on. I thought it was a typo.
Yeah.
Illinois finally won in overtime, 50-49. Wow. Purdue, what did they do? Wake up and go, hey.
But that's the Big Ten. Sometimes they don't play up to the level of competition, or the other one just like goes to sleep. And then Illinois has been playing on fire pretty much at the beginning of the season. So at 24-3 at halftime, I mean, they're like, let's put the backups in. Let's put the second string in.
Let's put the Greg Bonds in.
They Purdue stepped up.
Yeah.
They scored in the second half 40 points.
40
to make it go to overtime. 40 points of offense.
That's crazy.
That's crazy. And then what made it go into overtime? So you're at 43-43, which goes into overtime, and they missed the field goal. And Illinois closes the door. Extra point. So here's the deal. So you know what? Illinois, they had a wake-up call. I guarantee that coach got in their ear. They will not be – you know what we always say? 4 quarters, baby.
That's it.
You play 4 quarters. That's football. You never sleep. You just slam the door where they can never come back.
This is a great setup. We've got some great games next week, and this is going to be we're going to talk about that game next week at Illinois, Michigan. But let's go UAB Army. 44-10. Army, bro, undefeated. This is and I saw the highlights of the quarterback, and he did this fake going this way, and he did the turnaround, and he went around, and he scored running because that's the way that they're the option they're. But then went back and he whipped a 30-yarder down the field, and they're saying, "Oh my God! Not only can the Army quarterback run, but he can throw it."
That's right.
So Notre Dame, man, it's going to be tough for them. Hey man, fight on. 44-10. This is a great season for the Army and Navy team. I mean,
I love it. Our military, our servicemen are really getting recognized. Good.
Amazing.
I mean, I hope. Well, they're all bowl eligible, which is great, and I hope that they make a statement that they got more than just service in them. They're showing that they're football players.
Oh, dude, they're balling out. Okay. Let's get down to some business here. Let's go over this because I'm still racking my. Penn State traveled to USC. You chose Penn State. I chose USC. Let me tell you something. It was a great game.
Yeah, it was.
It went overtime. Penn State came out 33-30. I really believed that them traveling. I'm telling you, man, Penn State's defense is really good. No, it's good. It's good. Meaning I'll tell you why. Because I was thinking that USC was going to be playing at home. You know how USC is. Got the
Yeah.
athletes. They're going to
They're at
open
the
up. You know.
Coliseum. They're
And
doing their thing.
Penn State, they made some good plays. USC made some good plays, but at the end of the day, these are the games you have to win. These you have to just fight. It's a fight game, and if you come out on top in these couple of games, that's going to determine your season. And real quick, and I'm going to say this: Ohio State, when they went undefeated and won the championship, there was a score of 10-6. They beat Purdue 10-6. And those are the games, 14-9. Those are the games that you need to squeak out in the season to really make a difference.
Yeah.
So you won that one. That was on you. All right.
Well, thank you.
Let's move quick. Arizona, BYU. You chose Arizona. I chose BYU. Great game. Great game. But BYU, man, is making a believer out of me.
BYU at home. I said it at the beginning of the year. I've watched them when they played Texas back in the freaking Sam Ellinger days. I mean, Texas went in there with hype, and BYU stomped them. And I have watched them because their quarterback, who's now with the New Orleans Saints, just is an animal. He's the Tim Tebow of the BYU era.
Yeah.
So, but BYU at home is stellar. I mean, they are, I think, undefeated, and they just they got control in the second quarter, and they never stopped.
Yeah.
They never looked back, and they ran over.
Yeah. 41-19. They are ranked.
Thank you, James, for reiterating the score. It's because everybody wants to be reminded when they pick a team and the other one loses.
Well, you lost on that one, so
thank you. I know.
Yeah,
I know. You're so kind. I love hanging out with you. I love that we can banter and trash talk. But here's what I want to talk about.
Yeah,
that really stands out to me: Georgia, Mississippi State. I mean, what's Georgia doing? Is this another Bama situation? Because that is concerning. Mississippi State is 1-6 now. They are not in the same category. I mean, you got Georgia at number 5 with an unranked team of Mississippi State who's not been playing SEC football. I don't know what's going on, but Georgia, they have former Heisman candidate with Carson Beck. I mean, they got top-tier athletes. I know they're hurt, which we spoke of earlier in the show, about athletes when they don't have their star athletes, receivers, running backs. Most important is the running back. And they got freshmen in there. But their second half, they got shut down.
Well, look, two things, and we're going to agree when we're getting into here. Look, some teams, Georgia's their Super Bowl. So they're gonna, this is it for them. Georgia won the championship 2 years prior, before Michigan. So when that team rolls into town, everybody gets up for them, and this is kind of like their goalpost moment. Hey, we'll rip down the goalpost like Vanderbilt did.
Right.
So you're in the SEC. It's a program that whatever.
But Georgia was at home against. This should have been 41-10. This is not a 41-31. Call it at like a Florida, Tennessee, which is like got some history.
Yeah.
This is crazy to me.
Yeah, that was, I mean, when I looked at the score, I looked at, and I said, look, as we all know, we talked about this, injuries are going to start piling up. Whoever stays healthy is going to make a run for the championship. We both chose Georgia for that. Of course we did. Florida, Tennessee, another game that went overtime. And my son and I were talking, they gave Florida 16 points. We took that and we ran with that. But again, Tennessee, I told you Florida was going to come out and they were going to play. Listen, I believe the coach is every game counts for him, meaning I don't think he's got a lot of cushion. I believe
You're talking about the Florida head coach?
Yes.
Right, Napier.
If he goes 500 from this point forward, I don't think Florida's gonna. They don't want that. They're not used to it. Florida in the last 5-7 years hasn't been good. They need somebody to get in there. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's
if you look at their schedule, what Florida has coming up, not to jump on your coattail right there, but I mean it's like Kentucky, Georgia, Texas, LSU, Ole Miss, Florida State. I mean, you've got 5 bangers. 5.
How many of those? How many do you think he's going to win?
1.
Wow, he's out. If that comes to fruition, he's out. There's no way. I'm telling you, he's been there. I don't know how long he's been there. Maybe 2-3 years. It hasn't been good.
Kentucky, I'm going with the Wildcats. I like what they're at. They're on the road. It's tough to play in Jacksonville. Trust me, it is. But then Georgia, that's a huge rival. That's the Super Bowl for Florida Gators.
Mm-hmm.
That is going to be a close game.
Yeah.
That's a swing. I don't know. That's don't sleep on Florida for that one.
All right, we got
annihilated. LSU annihilated. Ole Miss annihilated.
Here's one that I won again. It was Iowa State, West Virginia. You chose West Virginia because they're playing at home. I chose Iowa State. 28-16. Not, they still won. And they were played.
They
at
won,
West Virginia,
but
Iowa State.
I told you I got to get on the bandwagon with you at this Iowa State.
But you didn't.
And I didn't. I have it
chose
in my
West
notes.
Virginia.
I took West Virginia because they were playing in Morgantown.
Okay, hold on.
No,
Let's go to the scoreboard. Okay, week 7. James 2, Greg 1.
Hey,
come on,
I take risk.
You know what this is?
I like to believe in the underdog.
It's called the victory bell. Victory bell.
I like underdogs.
Yeah, evidently. Bro, come on, bro. I'm opening up a can. Listen, let's go through these because we got to jump on and do next week. So, Boise State, Hawaii, Boise State. Boise State's looking good. Boise State's looking good.
Oh, bro. We got to talk about this game. Come on. Kansas State, Colorado.
Oh! You and I both went for Kansas State.
We did. Okay?
Yeah.
Because I converted you because of Susan Walters. All right. So you got the purple and silver. I'm telling you, I watched some of this, but I watched majority of the highlights. And I'm telling you, they played freaking awesome. That game was a highlight game. I mean, this was a really competitive game. And I got to give credit to Colorado. They really played good. Kansas State, they came out on top. But let me tell you, it was much closer than the scorebook. I mean, it was a coin toss. I mean, it was like you never knew who was going to win because Sanders was balling out. And that number 10 receiver, don't know his name, but dude, he was lightning because they were doubling, triple teaming Hunter, and who is competing for Heisman, obviously. But let me tell you, Avery Johnson, that Kansas State Wildcat group, they showed up in Colorado. And Colorado, I know it was disappointing. They could have come out there with the win. I mean, it was really they played
Brown, I think is who you're talking about. Jace Brown.
Oh, is that him? Yeah. I mean, his stats, bro, I'm just like, that is a competitive game. I mean, those two were neck and neck. But
when you take Kansas State, go to Colorado, and I believe it was a night game. And listen, everything was pointing towards Colorado. Listen, I just truly believe that Colorado may be there. I just think it's that third and fourth. It's not the starters; it's the guys who come in. They're just the depth is not there yet.
Yeah,
and that's crucial. And I'll get into this game. So let me talk about my game, and then we're going to go to yours. So Ohio State went to Oregon, and got beat 32-31. Listen, I want to talk about two things. Number one, our defense. Burke is a piece of toast. He got burnt and he's crispy right now. I mean, it is unbelievable that he got 3 or 4 major completions against him. And he was supposed to go pros last year and he decided to stay. He's supposed to be number 1 draft pick this year. They went at him. And they were, I mean, every single time it looked like they just blew right by him and he was playing catch up the whole way. The other thing I want to talk about is offensively. Offensively, Will Howard played amazing. He threw for over 300 yards. 326 yards. He was 28 of 35 for 326 yards and 2 TDs. Travion Henderson had 87 yards. Jeremiah Smith, the freshman, again got 100 yards. Offensively, I have no problem. Here's the issue, the other issue I'm going to bring up. The left tackle and the right guard went down. The right guard came back. The left tackle had to be carted off. Your left tackle was probably one of the most important positions on the offense because
100%.
Usually if you're a right-handed quarterback,
you've got to protect
that's your blind side.
That is correct.
It's going to be interesting how we move forward because we talk about injuries. But the one thing I will say, and then I will do this one last thing, and I'm going to pass it over to you, is there was a call at the end of the game, 12th man. That coach pushed him on the field because he said, I'm going to lose 5 yards to gain 4 seconds. Incomplete pass with 10 seconds went down to 6 seconds. So he did that. He knew the rules. And he did that. So, hey, Mike, I tip my hat off to him, bro.
Man,
amazing play call. So, look, I'll do this real quick. We lost the game. And you know what? I believe that in this moment, it's not a bad thing because we have to look at ourselves and go, hey, we went into their house. They beat us by a point. We had a chance to kick a field goal, win it, but we lost. So everybody in there is like, okay, now we're going to strap up the boots and we're going to get in it. So we got a tough road ahead. There's a lot of football to be played.
You got Nebraska coming up. But let me jump on you. I mean, listen, for the Buckeye Nation, nobody needs to be disappointed. Oregon's a good team. They balled out. Dylan Gabriel was just stellar. Okay? Stellar. He, just like Howard, as your quarterbacks, they led this team. And Dylan Gabriel, man, he delivered for, I mean, it's like the train. That
what about this? What about the read at the end of the game where he read, JT came in and crashed, pulled it out, and scampered, I think, 30 yards for a touchdown.
Look, Ohio State, their bar for the entire Big Ten is always here. You have to play at their level because they have set the barometer so high that everybody needs to play at that level. Oregon came in, they played their butts off, and they did a great job. I'm not saying, but nobody in Ohio State needs to worry. They're going to be in the playoff system no matter what. And they, you know what? This was a good competitive game. It's everything what college football is expected. And, and the reorganization from Oregon coming from the Pac-12 to the Big Ten, I think is great. But dude, everybody loved the game. They came out on top. It was a very good story to tell. This is a hero story.
Played at home. They think two things real quick. We have a bye this week, so maybe that injury on the left, we can get him healed because we have a bye. Then we play Nebraska at home. Then we go November 2nd, we're going to Penn State. I guarantee you that they're going to make that a night game for the whiteout. Always tough. Then we play Purdue at home. Then we play Northwestern at Northwestern. Yeah. Then we have Indiana at home. And then we play Michigan at home. So
Ohio State's got a tough road ahead of them, but I'm not really worried about Ohio State. They're going to have some very competitive games, and those teams are going to be fired up. This is the Big Ten. This is the real deal. But Oregon, you have to understand, Evan Stewart is a Texas A&M former player. He is a Texas homegrown kid. He went and transferred in the portal, went up there. They just got one of the top kids out of high school down here in Duncanville, top tier, 5-star player. Their receiving core is off the charts.
Yeah.
And I mean, Evan Stewart, 7 receptions for 149 yards and a touchdown. Bro, he balled out. He game changed.
Well, he made Burke look turn into a piece of toast, bro.
Yeah, but he's
Piece
top
of
tier,
toast.
dude. Yeah, but he needed highlight reel, and he showed up, and he's going to be NFL caliber.
All right, so listen, Ohio State lost. Now let's move on to Texas. Not really a lot to talk about. Texas,
Yeah, come on.
just put it on them, bro.
Yeah. You
Go
know
ahead.
what? So what's your thoughts? Because I want to know from your perspective of what you were. Did you get time to watch it?
I did. I watched a little bit of it, but I had Kip that was giving me text messages saying that, hey, all of our receivers are down. Listen, and I understand that. But you know what? In the game of basketball, hockey, football, if you get injured, that's part of the game. Unfortunately, it's like you and I spoke. If you stay healthy the whole way, and you're going to make a run for the playoffs, God bless you. But there's going to be players that's going to be injured. Okay,
Yeah.
Hands down. So it's all about timing.
Yeah.
When they get injured, it's unfortunate. Look, at the beginning of the year, you love like, hey, let's get have some injuries, let's get healthy, a couple buys, whatever.
Yeah.
That's what I'm hoping for our team. We have 2 offensive linemen that went out. Hopefully, the week we're going to get everybody healthy, whatever. But that's the game. It's unfortunately, but I don't want to hear it. I don't.
Yeah. So this was my Super Bowl. Okay. This was a big thing. I got to hang out with Kip. You know, and I'm just going to touch a little bit what you talk about when your top tier receivers go down. You have a lot of injuries, which does happen in football. But this is a part of the recruiting, the NIL, and bringing in kids. Unfortunately, there are some teams like Clemson that doesn't NIL support. They like to keep everything internal. But when you're getting top tier athletes like Texas and you're building a new Alabama environment, okay, because Alabama set the bar. I mean, 7 out of 10 years, they're national champs. So when you're saying that what Vrabels is doing for Oklahoma, this is where your recruiting aspect of things and where you got to bring in your next level up, man up. Texas has got that. That's what they're doing. And they are on, I mean, and they're in the top 6 of recruiting right now with top tier 5-star athletes. But the game was in the first quarter. Quinn Ewers coming off 2 weeks absence. His injury, he looked like he wasn't
it took him a
sync.
minute to jumpstart, get it going.
Right. But once they got some leverage momentum, second quarter, they just dominated. Things were turning. And I want to mention this. I watched the play like everybody, the millions of people watching that game. Isaiah Bond, transferred, came in. They were 60 yards out with Wisner. They did a running player. He was blocking as a receiver in the backfield. The man ran 60 yards at full speed. Wisner got hit from behind, fumbled the ball, and Bond ran a 4.0 Superman all the way down, recovered the fumble in the end zone. He was not even in the play call. Wow. He was meant to block. He ran all the way down and was the game changer and sets the tone. It's like he played 1,000% above his level on one play, but that's how he plays. This is the environment which Texas is thriving and why they are number 1 right now. They are been at full sync across the board from the get-go. There's no question that they are the top dog. I don't care who's starting quarterback.
Now,
our backup can be doing
is there an injury that you would like to talk about, cornerback?
No, Texas? I mean, Quinn, he was hurt. He came back.
No. Cornerback out for the season. Who is that?
Our quarterback out for the season?
CB. Cornerback.
You know what? We lost a cornerback, but it's nothing like detrimental because we're so deep in our depth, and so I'm not worried. I mean, he's out for the season. That's number 2. But there was some chatter about it. But I know we're so deep, and it's just man up. I'm not
Yeah.
worried. I
Listen,
mean,
Texas rolled in, and it was man against boys. He just threw
dude,
them
Texas
around.
dominated the entire game. I mean,
Yeah.
3 points. They
3.
crushed their running game. They crushed their receiving game. They dominated on defense, and they just stepped up. That's what a top tier team does on both sides of the field.
So right before we move on to next week's picks, what we're going to do is we're going to shrink it down today because we're already at 50. Army and Navy are both ranked for the first time since 1960. Wow. Just wanted to throw that in there. And so with that said, I think that what we'll do is let's look at the games next week and let's pick our ones, but we're already up to almost 50 minutes. We can't go through all of them. But you and I can go through ours and we'll add it.
Yeah, we can get into that. Let's just chat it out because we got some
Okay.
great games coming.
So here's what we got next week, and there's some good ones, bro. Let me go to the ones that are just the ones that are just heightened. Let's go right now. Alabama at Tennessee, 12:30 game. Alabama going into Tennessee. Who you got?
Man, this is going to be exactly what we anticipated. The SEC bubble is on the line. I mean, Texas is at the top tier. You got everybody's chasing. I'm going to go with Tennessee. I like Tennessee. I know what they're capable. I love the quarterback. I love the running game. This is going to be a very defensive. They're going to be wearing their hats. This is going to be a throttle game. This is going to be a must-watch game. I'm going to go Tennessee on this game.
Okay, I'm going to go with Alabama, and the reason why is because when they got 2 games, I think that this next game
is a must-win.
Everything's going to turn around, and they're going to play. I just believe that Tennessee had a bit of a what was it 2 weeks ago yeah. So I'm going to go Alabama. They are playing at Tennessee, by the way. So your pick, you might get this one. Let's go to another good one. I'm going to save yours for last because that's going to be the bomb.
Of course.
Let's do this one. And I really want to hear what you got on this one. So I got Michigan traveling to Illinois. It's a 12:30 game. Who you got?
Illinois. I don't even have to think about it. Illinois has been preparing for this game since the beginning of the season. They've had it marked on the calendar. Illinois is making a statement, and they want to be recognized as a Big Ten baller. Illinois, fighting Illinois, guys. I love you guys. I love what you're doing there. I don't believe in Michigan. I've seen what they do. They're done.
Okay, here's why I'm going with Illinois. I think the Illinois quarterback is doing really well. Their defense is great. They're playing at home. I just don't believe. I think Michigan again is on their 3rd quarterback. I think there's disruption there. There's no continuity.
Yeah.
There's nobody that the receivers can go.
Yeah.
We've built this great rapport with them over the summer. It's almost like there's a new guy coming in every week. Unstable. That's going to cause issues. So I believe that Illinois will win that one. A big win for Illinois. It's going to be a good one. So as we look down some of the ones that we're looking at here, I mean, I got one for you that I want to talk to you about. I got Miami is traveling to Louisville. It's an early game. It's 9 a.m. They're playing at Louisville. Who you got?
Knowing what Louisville's done and watching them, this is going to be a high-scoring game. It's going to be very much like the Cal Berkeley game that we were like when I took Cal Berkeley and Miami came back. Louisville is a very, very good team. They have a high-rated offense, but Miami, I'm going to go with the U.
Yeah. I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why I'm going to go with Miami. And as you know, I put my stock in Louisville 2 times or 3 times this year. I was high on them. I've talked about them a lot. I've watched them a couple times.
Yeah.
Spitter, sputter, just not getting it done. I think Miami right now is seeing the possibilities.
Yeah.
They really are. They're ranked 6th in the nation. I really believe that they're really starting to believe in themselves, really starting to think that the ACC is there, even though I think that Clemson's going to win. That's beside the point. We'll see what happens at the end of the year. But I really think that they are starting to believe, hey, we got something here.
Yeah, this is a must-win for Louisville. I mean, Louisville really has to win it.
Yeah, I mean, look, for whatever
Miami's
that is.
traveling on the road. Miami's been traveling. They went to California. They've been on the road. This is a big test for them. It's just they're going to have to dig deep.
I got one for you. I got Nebraska traveling to Indiana, okay, 9 a.m. game. Who do you got?
Wow. I love how you segue to me on this one. Nebraska, Indiana. Man, Indiana's going to be hyped. They're going to be pumped. This is tough. This is another coin flipper.
It is.
And
I agree.
I love the quarterback because, I mean, they are all – this is a very down to the wire. This is an Ohio State Oregon game. This is the same caliber of game. And because my dearest friend's son just graduated from Indiana, I'm going to go Indiana.
Yeah. Well, look, I think we have 2 amazing quarterbacks here.
Yeah.
We really do. I mean, everyone was talking about the Nebraska quarterback going into the season. He's played really well. But Indiana, I'm telling you, they're undefeated. The quarterback is playing amazing. They're playing at home. I think Indiana is going to get it done. I think Nebraska is 1 year away. 1 year away. I really believe they got something going.
Nebraska with Rattoli. I think the quarterback. I mean, look, this is going to be a great game. This is really they're both building programs. I mean, I love how they've changed their dynamic because we weren't talking about them at the beginning of the year. We were they're questionable. I mean, Indiana wasn't even on the radar.
Right.
But now, seeing what they're doing, they're loaded. They're on all sides of the ball. Nebraska the same way. This is going to be could be an overtime game.
So I'm going to go in with this. You and I spoke about this. Notre Dame ranked 12th. They're playing good ball right now. They're traveling to Georgia Tech, 12:30 game.
Who you got?
I am going Georgia Tech for the upset.
Are you getting my notes? You're getting my notes. You can't be the Suling being over here because you know what? I think Georgia Tech at home, they need the exposure. I like who they're playing Notre Dame. Notre Dame's been on the radar. I really know that Georgia Tech, when they play big team, they're getting big coverage on TV. Mm-hmm. I'm with you. I think Georgia Tech is going to shock the world and Notre Dame's going to deflate.
Yeah, well, I think that Georgia Tech played really, really well.
I want to go against you because it just in my heart of heart but I love the quarterback. I know when it comes to big game moments, Georgia Tech's going to play. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We've been agreeing way too much. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to change my pick to Notre Dame. Just so we have some controversy here because we're picking the same teams. We need to switch it up. How about this one? This is going to be a good one. I got Kansas State traveling to West Virginia, 4:30 game. Who you got? Kansas State.
Yeah. I mean, not that whatever. I mean, come on. Kansas State they're balling right now. I think that when you have a quarterback that is really just playing balls out.
Avery Johnson's awesome. He's a
Yeah.
great thing. They got the running game. They got a passing game. They got a defense. They're at home. They're on the road. You know what? And more, West Virginia, what they did last week at home. I expected a much better result from the way that but they played Iowa State, who you've been riding their coattail all season. You love the coach, you love the program, so good on you. I mean, Iowa State's great, but Kansas State, after a loss, they always bounce back. They're going to win.
They're ranked 17th, and they're playing really well. Look, you and I both talked about this too. Kansas State, they went into BYU, and that's not a pleasant place to go in and play at BYU. No. It's not. And they came out, they got their ass kicked, and I think they've rebounded very, very well. And so listen, here we got a couple of ones that I just want to mention just because Army and Navy. So East Carolina's traveling to Army. I think Army's going to win that one.
Hey, let's agree. Army, Navy both win.
Yes. To me, that's simple. It's to the point. Now
we're going to support our military crew and can just carry them both.
So I got one for you. This is your team you love. SMU ranked 21. They're traveling to Stanford. 5 p.m. game. Who do you got?
I'm taking SMU. Not because they're my local team. But you know what? I think Stanford, they have been playing well. Well, let me take that back. They haven't been playing well.
No,
SMU has got
I watched the one game. They played well.
Jenkins, Michael, their quarterback, is a stellar quarterback, dual threat. He's going to run all over them. They're going to show a style of Texas, California. Let's put it about state to state, more so than the colleges. Texas has always been looked at the Friday Night Lights kind of mentality. California has been second tier. We have Texas athletes. Our guys are going to show them what we have grown up playing and put a kibosh. I think this could be a blowout, massive.
Yeah. So let's go here, man. I got a good one for you, and then we're going to start getting into the meat, and we're going to get to you at the end. UCF's traveling to Iowa State. I truly believe we both are choosing Iowa State.
I'm taking Iowa State. You know what? I pondered over the course of the last few weeks about Iowa State, and I've gone the other direction, and I've lost. I'm going Iowa State.
So I got one for you here. We got LSU, who is ranked 8th, is traveling to Arkansas.
I'll be there.
Who do you got?
Man, this is going to be a game. I'm so excited. I'm taking my boy up. We're going to go tour the school. But LSU coming to Arkansas, this is going to be a great offensive game. It's going to be a great defensive game. I'm taking LSU.
Okay. I'm taking Arkansas, baby. Woo-wee! We're going to say Arkansas, baby.
You're going to be a Razorback.
At home, a 4 p.m. game. I'm taking Arkansas for the victory. I think they're playing well.
That game, I'm going to give you some live coverage. So everybody that you're watching, follow us, subscribe, like the like button, get on it. Like our IG page at CFB _TT. I mean, I'm going to show you some live coverage. So I'm excited for my son, for myself, and all our friends that are going to be there. I got family and friends. So it's going to be fun. I've never been to Fayetteville, so not to disrespect Arkansas because my son got accepted to Arkansas, but he also applied to LSU. So I'm going the Tigers.
All right. So we're going to end the show today with a big one. We've got Georgia, ranked number 5, traveling to Texas at 4:30 game. I don't even think I need to ask you who you got, but give me your opinion, and then let me go first.
Yeah, you go first because you know what? I got skin in the game.
All right. So here's my thing. I think that Georgia is on. George is on the line. George is on the line. And I think that if Georgia loses, George is out. So, with that said, I am going Georgia. They're going to upset Texas, give Texas their first loss, and I think that's going to be a good thing for Texas. Anybody who loses right now, it's in the middle of the season. It's a brain twist. It's a refocus. I believe that Georgia has to. It's not even. They have to win, or they're done. So I'm going to go Georgia, winning, close game. I think it's going to be 35-30, 35-31.
Wow. Well, I'm sorry that you have swayed your opinion, but for all the right reasons. But you know what? This is the game that sets the boys to men. And the men are about to step up and show the country as the most watched game in the country, next to Oregon, Ohio State. Because that game was stellar. This is the next tier, which I love the way they're scheduling and airing this out. But everything is on the line. You know what? Quinn Ewers, he's got back, he's got practice, he played a subpar game. He did well, didn't do great, and he's a top tier quarterback. He's a top 5 across the board. But Carson Beck is a big boy who needs to put his big boy pants on and show up. And I just think apples to oranges, Texas has made a statement across the board and showed up to everybody's home field and showed up. Since last year to this year, I just think Texas is going to throttle them. We played them in the Sugar Bowl. We beat them then a couple of years ago. It's a rematch. It's not unfamiliar. Texas is they're going to be so hyped for this game. And this has been on the calendar, obviously. And Texas is I think it's going to be close. I think Texas by 10.
By 10. All right. Well, look, we didn't cover a couple of other games, but we know Oklahoma State, BYU. We got BYU going to win that. Auburn, Missouri. At Missouri. We're taking Missouri. Let me see what else. Texas A&M, Mississippi State. I'm going Texas A&M.
Yeah.
Agreed. Yeah. So I wanted to just go through those A&M, and then the other one was UFC, Iowa State. We both chose Iowa State, and okay. So that's good, bro. Listen, we got a great week of college football coming up. Thank you all for tuning in with us. We love you. Any questions, you can add in the comments. Like we said, a shout out. Anything you want us to say, a birthday, we can throw a birthday wish out for you. Whatever you want. I mean, that's what we're here for. But anyway, subscribe. Hit the subscribe button. This is going to help us out. We want to build the show. We're having a blast, right, Greg?
We are. I'm glad to do this with you and reaching out to all our people that are following us. And we thank you. We appreciate you. We're just trying to cultivate a community amongst other football fans. And we want to talk about your schools, and we want to keep hyping the game and looking at James is winning. Obviously.
You see that scoreboard right there?
Yeah, it's going to change this week. We're going to add some W's to Greg Vaughn.
16, 20 to 6.
I can't see. It's out of my line of sight. My vision is impaired.
Come on, Greg. You got to get it going, brother.
My vision is impaired. All I know is the number 1 team in the country is UT, baby. UT.
And you know what?
Light it up. That's how we do it. Woo.
Yeah. Ow.
I even got disco lights in the back.
Listen, man. Greg's in Texas. I'm in California. We love all of you who tuned in. Please hit the subscribe button. We love it. We just want to build our show. We're having a blast, and we love you all. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.
Yes. Love.
Hold on. Victory bell. All right, guys. We'll see you next time.
Peace out.